Alec Rowley to wind up and press or withdraw.
Thank you, Convener. I think there's been a number of valid points made, but the one issue that I think comes through again and again is that for people who have experienced using the planning system, I'm not sure inclusive is always the word that they would end up making. And the point is, I mean, I not only support the idea of front-loading the system to engage people, but as a politician I have, over many years, actively taken action to encourage people to get involved in the planning process at the earliest stages. And I have repeatedly done lots in the media to try and make the point that if you wait until the application's in that's discussing the colour of the bricks, you're too late. You have to go at a much earlier stage. And that is a point, and I'm disappointed that Andy Whiteman says he can't support the amendment that I have put in, because it's the same argument I heard Andy make at the Environment Committee a number of weeks ago at stage 2, where he was putting up some amendments and saying a lot of work would need to be done on this and to get to stage 3. And with all these amendments, a lot of work will need to be done on them to get to stage 3. I am encouraged a bit by what Graham Simpson has to say, that coming up to stage 3, we will have a look again. And I would suggest all the parties, other than the party that's absolutely opposed to listening to the concerns that are being raised by the public, get together before stage 3, because there is an issue here. There is a real issue here. Happy to do so.
Mr. Riley, I am more than happy to engage with everyone. Whether I agree with their amendments or not. I have done so throughout this process and will continue to do so. I think that many members around the table will tell you the efforts that I've gone to actually ensure that we get to the best possible place. I don't think that third-party equal right of appeal is the best place.
Well, that's the whole point. You've ruled it out for day one, and you've made clear that in principle you're totally opposed to looking at any aspect to it. The amendment that I have put forward in 151 actually talks specifically about this process where you front-loaded the process. When I've spoke to people who have taken part in that process, meeting rooms that have been parked out with local communities taking part in that process, then following it through to the point where the council determine the local plan and have thought, yeah, that process worked, only for a developer to come along before the ink's dry on the paper, fire in an application, take it to appeal and overrule that and undermine that whole process of front-loading. That's the problem that I'm trying to address through my amendment. I accept that technically these amendments need to be worked on and could be stronger, but the principle with that is one where it leaves people, and these are some of the comments that I've heard where that's happened, where people say democracy does not work in planning. They feel cheated, betrayed by the whole planning process and system. And if people feel like that, then we have an issue and we have a problem that the Minister and the Government and Government Party just seem unwilling, completely unwilling to actually take on board. And therefore that is to ignore communities right across Scotland who have had this issue. And I know that Kenneth Gibson raises the issue about the need to build houses. I agree with that. The biggest block to building houses, or one of the biggest blocks to building houses in Scotland, is the lack of upfront infrastructure funding for education, schools, health, leisure, community facilities. That is one of the key blocks. It's not the planning system as such. It's the front-loading of infrastructure, something that I have raised with the Minister time and time again. And that's the issue that needs to be tackled if we actually want to release a whole load of land that is already in the plans that needs to be built. That needs to be built. So I would say in moving, and I certainly intend intend to move 51, that all these amendments that are there need work done to them. We need to come together at stage 3. There is only one party that... Yeah.
I've listened very carefully to Mr Rowley, and we've had conversations about some of the issues that he has raised, and we will continue to have discussions. And you know, the government has put in place things like the Housing Infrastructure Fund to help in some of these regards. Alec Riley, convener, has been talking about wanting people to get involved early. That's what I want. I think that's what everybody wants. It's too late when the decision is being made. So that's a clear argument why adding further late appeals is not the answer. Now, I'm willing to work with all parties in trying to improve the early engagement aspect of all of this as best we possibly can. And I think that we can do a lot, not only just within this bill, but out with the bill to get more folk involved in the planning process. I've talked previously about intertwining community planning with spatial planning, and I think that is the way of getting more people involved. That is the collaborative approach. Adding more appeals at the end is a recipe for even more conflict.
But the problem with that is that if people feel that spending all that time, energy and often resource and getting involved at the early stages can completely be ignored if a developer doesn't like the outcome and they then have the right to appeal, but those who put everything into that process have no rights, that's where this breaks down. Indeed, the Minister was quite critical of my Amendment 92. I would have to say that my Amendment 92 came about as a result of discussions I had on my amendment the first one, the 51, with, I think, 2 of the most senior planners in Scotland. So if I've got that completely wrong, I need to stop taking advice for very senior planners. I don't intend to move 52, but I certainly intend to move my first amendment. But I would finish by again saying there is only one party, it would seem, in this Parliament that is fundamentally opposed to addressing the concerns that people and communities across Scotland are raising. Therefore, the other parties need to come together, work together, so that at stage 3 we can address the genuine concerns that are raised in communities across Scotland. And with that, convener, I would want to move the amendment 51.